All you need to fold this plane is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You can convert a A4 sheet by cutting off 1 inch from the shorter side. Begin by folding in half. Now flip over, making sure that this is a mountain crease. And now you want to make a crease taking this edge to this edge, but making sure that this crease passes through this corner. So that means that I want to tack this point down first, and then drag this key crease till it drag this part of the paper till it hits that edge, and then simply crease across. Now we'll unfold and repeat for the other side. Same step, you need to tack down this corner and then just swivel the other side, swivel this side to meet that edge. Now that you have got both sides creased, you will perform a step where you're folding both of them in like so. And well, it's better if you do it on one side. What you want to do is that when you fold both of these sides, then you want to form a crease right at the center crease on both sides. So leaving one side folded, you will make a crease right from the intersection of these two creases on the center crease, and then this crease across from down there, which should look something like so. Making sure it goes all the way up to that point and lands pretty much on the center crease, and then you can just collapse the other side and then use the same reference here to fold it out as well. And the paper will look like this. Then you just need to collapse this part of the plane, which will be standing up right now. We need to collapse this layer, and you want the crease to go almost or preferably to these points. So just stacking both of these sides down while landing this center crease on top of itself, and just creasing one side done and the other side as well. Now we're going to perform a step which we will need to reverse. So flipping the paper over and then rotating it, that actually you'll just fold this point down, rotating it, folding this point down, and your reference would be on this side. So you want to make sure that this crease goes right through that intersection and then creates a crease landing this point on this edge and that point on that edge. And of course the center crease should land on the center crease. That seems all right. Now flipping to the side where you have that reference, you want to fold this point down so that this is about maybe 3/4 of an inch, this band, and you will lightly crease on this side and then flip over to check the accuracy. Then you can crease across fully. So what we did here was we created a crease first using this as a reference again from the last fold to create that crease. If you didn't understand this step, we have to fold this point down on the opposite side, making sure that this center crease lands on this center crease and these 2 points goes right through the corners. Now we'll flip this flap to the other side and fold this edge into the center. Making sure that it goes all the way to the center. If you're folding with thicker paper, then you would might want the crease to be just a short, maybe a millimeter or so. This seems good, so I'll crease across. And then you want to flatten this side out using this point. The pocket currently does not want to be opened here, but you just need to kind of press on this to swivel that out, and you want to make the crease right from this point here to this point here. My paper is bubbling a little. Let me just fix that. Now you just need to again collapse this, making sure that all the slack gets taken to the other side, creasing out. And now we just need to repeat that step on this side, taking this edge all the way to the center right from the top. It's a bit hard for me to see. And creasing all the way into the pocket, which I forgot to do on this side. That's why it was bubbling. And now you will again collapse it right from this point here at the edge where it's intersecting the edge, and then just collapse it like we did on the last side. Okay, now your paper will look like this, and we can flip this flap to the other side. Now we will just fold from this point here. You'll see that you have a flap underneath. Fold from that point all the way to the edge. So we made a crease that starts from this point, which is underneath here, the this crease intersecting that flap, and all the way to that back edge. And of course we'll repeat the same step for the other side. We crease this side less light, more lightly, because we want to use the other side as a reference. Okay, now that you have creased this side, you will kind of reverse this and put these layers underneath. For that you need to reverse this crease. So starting off at the thickest part and then working your way towards the thinner area, which will of course reverse easier. And then you just want to, while reversing, tuck it underneath the flap. Tuck it underneath this flap while it's reversing. And now you'll see that some part of it will end up crossing the back edge. That's fine. Once you have gotten that, let me just do this. once you have gotten this part, uh, to basically more or less follow the crease, just make sure that this goes to almost this point at the back edge, right here, this point, almost to that point. And this we will get this extra flap of flipper at the bottom. This is fine. And of course you need to repeat it for the other side, but instead of following the same thing here, we're actually going to fold in half. First flip over, then fold along this crease, and now flipping over once again, we can use that to first sharpen up this crease, and then just start reversing again, same thing. And of course we're tucking it behind, but now to ensure that both sides will maintain symmetry, wait a second, to ensure that both sides maintain their symmetry, you would, instead of repeating the exact same thing, you just want this side to land right on that extra portion. So while trying to get this, folding in and getting it even somewhat close is fine. It won't impact the fret performance much, but I'll try to get it fully aligned. Something like so. Now we just need to let these flaps fold down and finish the wings. We are just taking this edge to the bottom point of this flap, and of course making sure that the crease goes straight to the point up there, and then just following that all the way to the back. The layers will get really thick at the point where we tuck that in, but you should be able to crease it. And then while unfolding this side, or maybe you can keep it folded down if you want, you're going to repeat that for the other side, just making sure that the crease goes all the way to that front point, and then creasing down. And it will look something like so. If you have a bone folder or any other scale or ruler, then you can use that to flatten out this side more. Okay, this is what the plane should look like at this point. Now we will flatten this down like so and start working on the locking mechanism. We want this is same kind of lock that you would see on a plane like quill, and you want to just push these layers so that they fold right along this edge. So just pushing them, and then your paper would look like this, and it will of course apply tension to these parts, but that's fine. Now while you hold this, you want to apply pressure and fold the fuselage this side to make that crease here, and then repeat for the other side. Okay, now we have a bit of a complicated step here. You see we have this folded layer. We just performed this step, and now we have this layer here, and our objective is, you can see we have a pocket on this side. We want to tuck these creased areas into this pocket. This is easy because all the creases are already in the right direction, so you just need to kind of open up this pocket and then tuck this crease starting from the back, like you can understand, starting to tuck it on this side like so, and then making sure it goes all the way or right on those creases, and then this part of the paper again on that existing crease, and the paper should look like so. Make sure you only repeat it on the side closest to you. If you didn't catch that, you have a crease here, and a crease here formed by the previous steps, and you need to basically tuck this pre-existing crease underneath this flap. So you need to open it up and then just slide it in, and it will just fold in on those existing creases, and this flap will be up like so. Okay, and again you won't want to repeat this on the other side, even though you can of course do it, but you won't want to repeat it. That's not the part, that's not a part of the plane. Anyways, now we need to start uh, folding this side. We need to remake the crease, so folding it right alongside this edge here. You can see this edge of the fuselage, and then just folding it down like so, right alongside that, making sure that you have as less bubbling or any other things like that. Nice crease across, and I'll just fix this kink in the paper. And now you'll see that one side has is shorter because of those creases while one is not. We'll start off with the longer side and just fold it along this crease, just along this wing crease, the wings crease, right like so. And this will miss this point just by a few, maybe millimeters or maybe a centimeter. That's fine. Just crease right alongside this fuselage, crease right alongside the fuselage, and fold this piece. Once you've got it pretty much correct, you can then place the plane down, fold this flap without making any creases to the opposite side, and then just start kind of finalizing this on the other side. I'll just go ahead. Okay, now while this flap is folded to the other side, and while you pinch the rest of the plane tightly, you want to fold this flap in half by folding from this edge to this edge. So just taking that while holding the rest very tightly and making sure that it doesn't move. You want to fold it almost to this edge. We leave a bit of leeway because we'll have to fold this over. So creasing it nicely like so. Then you want to fold this up on those existing creases, making sure this is tightly pinched. Fold this side up, and then just crease again right alongside this crease here, the fuselage crease, the crease that made the wings. Just make sure, and then just turn the fuselage this way like you do on quill, and make this crease, solidify it. I'll just do it towards the nose, and now you will see that there's this extra bit of paper that we can tuck into this first pocket here, the first one, not the second one. Of course, we have blocked them with that layer. So we'll just fold kind of along this. It's better to fold along this than make the full crease, at least for me, but I'll just make sure that it's going right to a point and not curving much. Making a perfect plane is what you want to achieve for the best flight potential. So I'll just check the accuracy, and it seems good to me. I'll tuck it in, and then I'll crease. And then if you want, you can just repeat this crease again, folding the fuselage this way. And now that we have tucked that part, the extra part in, we want to lock the other side of the plane as well. So now you'll see that this side is very well locked, but we need to repeat the same for the other flap. So while it's held tightly here, we'll just fold right alongside this again. It will be, this crease might shift a little bit because of the extra area of that other flap we just tucked in. So refold that, but it's not going to make much of a difference. Now we again want to repeat the same step where we are just folding right alongside that edge, but make sure that you have creased the fuselage on the side by tilting the fuselage again. And now you'll want to repeat that step. Make sure that it's tight to the body of the plane, and then make that fold. And once you've got it more or less, then you can place it down, uh, putting tension on it to crease it well. And now for this side, instead of bisecting it and then doing the other things, we just want to fold this right alongside this wing crease, like so. And before we do the next step, you'll see that we have this top part of the paper which is trapped inside these layers. We want to kind of take it out of one of them, and basically what we want to do is, right now it's stuck in the middle here. If you can see that, it's stuck in this middle portion which we have already collapsed the main body, and we want to basically shift this. You'll see we have two more layers here and going all the way to the top, and right now this layer is blocking them from being opened fully. So we want to basically shift this layer and put the crease, this creased portion here. No, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but we have a previously creased portion which was creased by our fuselage tilting, that was in the middle here, and we want to take it out and then just put it right between these layers. So I took it out from between these layers here, just taking it out gently, and then put it right between these layers. This is crucial for the next step. And once you think you got it more or less right, you can of course crease across. And you don't need to repeat any of the creases, though you could if you want to make reframe some creases. And now we'll just fold again right alongside this wing crease, creasing nicely. I'll actually flip the plane 180 360 degrees, and now just work on it from this side, where I can then tilt the fuselage to crease this. And now basically what we want to do, I'll flip it again, is that you see there's this extra uh, piece of paper here, and you just want to fold it right alongside this keel of the plane. Just fold it like so, and now you want to tuck in as much of it as you can into this part. So just as much of it, it won't go all the way, it's too large, but just trying to get as much of the paper trapped inside as possible, which will leave this bit here. Depends on how accurately you folded the plane, the amount that can be put in varies. I'll just make sure that it's going right alongside this part. And now you'll see you have this extra layer, extra, well, not layer, just extra piece of paper. Let me just fix this kink. Yeah, so this extra paper, we'll just do the same thing here. We'll fold it right alongside this edge, the keel of the plane, like we did on the last fold. And then while this side is already tucked in, the side where it originated from, this side is already tucked in, we'll tuck this in again. Just we creased the part we creased. So we took this flap, did this right alongside the fuselage, the keel of the plane, and then we just tuck it in right inside that same flap where we tucked in the last portion, the second side portion of the last fold, this part. Now that you have done that, your plane is almost complete. You just need to fix the fuselage. I'll just make sure that everything is nice and tidy, and you could have what this could be a finished plane. But there's of course a few more things you can do to this model. Now, as you can see, it has these flaps at the back, which make it look really cool. But also because you'll notice that they are quite reinforced here as well, which means they actually just provide extra. Uh, they provide extra lift area, which helps the plane in gliding. And mostly they just look cool, but they are a bit beneficial. You could fold them up and into the plane if you want, but they won't impact the flight performance much. In fact, they might even enhance it for the reasons I said before. This plane is quite stable, it's quite well balanced, The center of gravity is a bit further back, which means it glides quite nicely, though not as well as a good glider, but it definitely would not require up elevator. You may find that it's rolling and because of and has some stability issues, especially if you folded it poorly or messed up the first few steps, which is fine. Mistakes happen. So, and just generally as well, if you want a bit improved flight performance and stability, you can fold small winglets. So you want to start off by this taking this point. There's this other layer here, the reinforced layer, and you'd want to fold it so that it's basically parallel to the plane, parallel to the center crease, I mean, sorry. It will start off originating at the this point here, but as you gradually try to get it to be parallel, it will shift. So I didn't get it fully correct this time, but that's close enough. I'll just turn it a bit more. And once you're done with one side, once you are satisfied with how it looks, then you can just kind of fold both of these sides in. The rest of the paper will just kind of curve around it and quickly just do the same thing here where you just copying the same step here, and you can, when you let the paper, when you release that, it will all go back to how it was before. You just need to maybe reinforce these creases, but whatever. And now you have both of these sides creased quite nicely with those really cool which makes it actually look even cooler, the outside portion. And that's it for this plane. Now here's a throwing tip. If it's thrown like with a medium, it glides quite nicely. It covers quite, I won't say glide, but it flies quite nicely when it's given a medium or hard throw. It can survive quite a few hard throws, and uh, and just thrown into the air with some uh, higher altitude, like you throw it above your head, raise your hand above your head, and then throw the plane, so that will let it fly further. Aside from that, you can experiment, of course. You can just experiment with which flap you put this side into. Of course, that would make it do barrel rolls and a few other stuff, and it will just fly quite nicely. It has some good distance potential because of its wide wings and of course that very symmetrical lock. I hope you had fun folding and have even more fun flying it.